Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ticker.com news channel on YouTube. On this channel, we review stock markets, discuss financial news, market trends, and economic data from Wall Street to Global Street. So let's dive in. Key economic events of the week included rate hikes by central banks of Switzerland, Norway, Turkey, and the United Kingdom. The Bank of England lifted its rate for the 13th time in a row and by a larger than expected amount of 50 basis points to 5.0%, the level not seen in 15 years. Bond market now anticipates peak rates to be near 6.1% from the earlier estimate of 5.4%. The Swiss National Bank pushed its rate hike for the fifth time in a row, but at a slower pace of 25 basis points, to a high not seen since April 2002. Norway's central bank lifted the benchmark rate by a larger than expected 50 basis points and hinted at another increase in August as higher wage growth and weaker currencies are set to push inflation higher. Turkey, in a monetary policy U-turn, raised its key lending rate by a whopping 650 basis points to 15%, but fell short of expectations of 21%. After the rate decision, the Turkish lira declined to a new low below 25 against the dollar on reports that the central bank had halted defending lira. Brazil held its interest rate for the seventh time in a row at 13.75%, a six-year high. Moreover, the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell stressed need to lift rates in his testimonies to the United States lawmakers, keeping market sentiment in check around the globe. U.S. housing market was in focus after building activities continued to expand. Housing market showed resilience despite elevated home prices, rising interest rates, and high and tight market conditions. Building permits, housing starts, and completions rose in May from the previous month. In addition, home builders' sentiment index continued to improve for the sixth month in a row. Existing home sales in the U.S. increased 2.3% from the previous month to an annual rate of 4.3 million in May. Higher mortgage rates and elevated home prices have kept demand weak, and fewer homes for sales also negatively impacted overall sales volume, and the median existing home price for all home types declined 3.1% from a year ago to $396,100. Turning our attention to Europe, passenger vehicle registration in the European Union increased for the 10th month in a row in May. Total registrations jumped 18.5% from April to under 1 million units. Germany led the region with new car registrations of about 247,000, followed by France and Italy about 150,000 each. The market share of battery electric cars saw a substantial increase from 9.6% to 13.8%. Hybrid electric cars are now the second most popular choice for new car buyers, accounting for almost a quarter of the market. However, petrol cars still have the largest share at 36.5%. In other news, Germany said its population increased to 84.4 million after more refugees from Ukraine arrived, and now foreign-born population in the country has jumped to about 14%. UK said its retail sales rose unexpectedly in May on warmer weather and bank holidays, lifted demand for outdoor-related goods. In Asia, Japan's inflation unexpectedly declined to 3.2%, and China lowered its loan prime rate by 10 basis points as expected. Shifting our attention to stock market around the globe, global markets dropped about 2% after central banks continued their aggressive rate hikes. In the week, market indices in the U.S. dropped about 1.8%, in Europe fell over 2%, and in Asia declined between 1% and 2%. Hong Kong market plunged more than 5% after tech stocks fell sharply on the worries of higher global interest rates and lack of economic stimulus measures. Tech stocks in the US, Europe, and Asia dropped between 3% and 10% after higher rates weighed on demand for riskier assets. Looking closer to individual stocks, earnings announcement and future outlook impacted several stocks. CarMax reported a 17% decline in revenue, and average selling price of a used car fell 6% in the last quarter. Accenture hiked its dividend by 15% and repurchased 2.8 million of its own stock in its latest quarter. FedEx reported quarterly revenue plunged 10% and grounded more planes as international parcel delivery demand remained weak. Winnebago, the maker of RVs, said sales plunged 38% because of weak demand and higher discounting. Cryptocurrencies linked stocks rebounded after Bitcoin jumped to a new one-year high above $25,000. Alibaba.com was in focus after the company announced management shakeup, and co-founder Eddie Wu will take over as next chief executive. For the next week, economic calendar is going to be dominated by the durable goods order, final reading of the GDP growth, and personal income and outlays report in the United States. In Europe, the focus will be on inflation reports for the Eurozone, France, Italy, Germany, and Spain, and retail sales data in Germany. In Asia, the focus will be on China's manufacturing survey, and in Japan, industrial production, retail sales, and jobless rate reports will dominate headlines. During the week, you can keep up with global markets, stocks, and company news using earnings calendar, economic data, detailed stock profiles, and financial statements and market-moving news on ticker.com. We will see you again next week.